Hello, Miracle family. We're here with Alice. Alice, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. The sun is out and it's going to be a good afternoon today. How are you?
I'm doing great. And we're back with another interview. It's been a little bit of hiatus. I have finally moved into the St. Anthony apartment that I was speaking of. I'm loving it. I am right down the street from the art district, and I can actually be in the environment of people like myself. So I'm very grateful to be sitting down with Alice in a new apartment. I truly can thank God for this. So, Alice, I want to start with your name because your
Yeah.
name has a huge meaning. If I'm not mistaken, Alice is not your first name, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, Alice is not my first name. My American name is Mary Alice Bednarek. Um, my mother, when she got me, my grandmother continued a tradition by calling all the girls in our family Mary because the doctor said if my mom was going to be born, because she's a triplet, my grandma wouldn't survive. So my grandma made a bet with God and we're all named Mary. Um, my other name I go by is Alice, and then in Africa I go by Agoja.
What does Agosha mean?
Agoja means female warrior. That name was given to me by my tribe in Nigeria. So when I got to study abroad within the last semester of my college, I had the opportunity to go and live with my tribe in Nigeria and practice some of my tribal customs.
It's really great to hear. Well, let's start from the beginning. What was your first interaction with the arts? Do you remember this moment?
Yes, I was a junior here in high school in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and I was just during my lunch break, I didn't sit in the cafeteria and eat lunch. I would just eat lunch in an art studio in my high school, and I would mess around with colors and designs. And I was always, I did some research on it the older I got. My mind was always going to be a creative mind. Like,
Hmm.
I move better with creativity versus sometimes with logic and stuff. So it's actually interesting because there's a philosophy out there where the human brain works two ways, and it can work both ways. You have the creative side, and then you have the logic side. The creative side are is where like the essence of where creativity comes from. The
Hmm.
logical side is where people do like readings and research and they get like data and they form that data to come up with new data and hypothesis. So my mind works more on the creative side and I love it. I live with it every day and I just enjoy every piece of it. So as a junior, I would just create artwork in the art room. And then I did some research. One day I did research and I said, I do want to go to college, but I want to go to college for art.
Hmm.
Like, I want to expand myself and I want to expand my skills in an upper higher education.
And you had the pleasure to do this. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken, you went to Eau Claire to pursue a degree. What was your
Yeah.
degree?
My degree, so I started here at Barron with my associates.
Okay.
And I just got out all the hard classes at a very small university, but that university became my home. So I struggled with math. I failed math classes 3 times. I failed math 3 times here at my college. And I kept pushing myself. I
Mhm.
just kept pushing and pushing, and I graduated.
So you
So
got your
I
degree.
loved, yeah, with my associate's degree. And then from there, Eau Claire was already combining. So 2-year colleges were already combining with 4-year colleges. So our
Mhm.
sister school was now going to be Eau Claire. So instead of like looking for a sister school to go to after I get my associates, I just transferred to Eau Claire to do my bachelor's there.
Okay. And before we talk about your collegiate career, let's
Mm-hmm.
talk more about your medium. You
Mm-hmm.
consider yourself a fine artist and a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever considered combining the two mediums, or are they in two separate realms that you just keep separate from each other?
Oh no, I play with different mediums all the time, but I love how you asked combining them because I do combine them. In many ways, I combine them with like expressionist artwork to like political artwork and to like the essence of just like expressing yourself through photography and not just photography, but the combination of two in one.
Right.
Um, colors, to me, colors in paintings, like I took a class called color theory and I love it. I encourage all artists to do research on color theory because color theory makes your artwork more meaningful, especially if you know the meanings on why you're using this color. like for the longest time, my three most popular colors I use are my favorite colors are yellow, blue, and green. And I use a lot of blue and green in my artwork. And I did research on like, why do I use my favorite color so much? It's a comfort. It's a comfort color to me. The least favorite color I will ever use in my paintings is pink and purple. I am not a fan of those colors,
Hey,
unfortunately.
what about Miracle What about the people?
Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry. But I'm learning to like love them. There was one assignment.
Yes.
There was a little like this is a cute little short story, but there was one assignment where my professor came in and he said, "For your next art piece, you're going to make this art piece with your least favorite colors. And you have to choose five least favorite colors." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess so." So that's what I did. And it actually was a really cool painting. Like it was my least favorite colors and I made artwork out of it. So to me, painting and using photography, especially combining together, but having them separate is so fun. You're always exploring with new mediums, you're growing in your skills. And not only that, but it's like you're learning what you like and don't like. And even what you don't like can turn into something that you do like in the future.
Exactly. I love how you word that of challenging yourself on the mundane tasks or the tasks that you don't want to do can often be the task that leads you to your success.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, to become The Rock or Kevin Hart, you don't got to live a famous, crazy life every day. They
Yeah.
got the life they have right now because of the boring tasks that they do every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking about these tasks throughout your collegiate career, what
Mm-hmm.
has been the most important lesson or teacher that you had in your collegiate career?
I would say the most important teacher, there are two most important teachers that are in my career that I still adore and still love them is Suzanne Truman and Professor Kipman.
Okay.
Um, Suzanne Truman was my first ever art teacher in college, and she really encouraged me to push my skills and not make artwork for comfort, but to make artwork from my soul. When she said, make work from your heart and soul,
Hmm.
it took me half a year to understand that. And I did it. I just created from my heart and soul. And there were some works that I never thought I would ever make that I made by hand or by my consciousness onto the canvas. And it gives me goosebumps to have such a wonderful, like, I still adore her. I love how she taught me to step out of my comfort zone, especially when it comes to political artwork. There were a couple assignments where I've had to make political artwork. And so I did research. I just didn't like the subject of like, so I'm a people pleaser. The old me, the freshman me used to be a people pleaser. I'm no longer that anymore, but I also, the people pleasing also was in my artwork and it was killing me. It was just mentally draining me and killing me. Like, for example, I've always wanted to paint the human body.
Right.
So, but I felt very ashamed to paint the human body.
Now I see what you mean by people pleaser. You are fixing into someone else's norm of you don't want to piss off the wrong people point of view a
Yeah.
lot of times. And
Yeah.
but one thing I would say, art's meant to do that.
It
Art
is.
make is meant to make you think, to question, to make a better judgment of yourself as well.
It
So
is. The
I'm
scary
very
thing is that I didn't. I'm sorry.
no worries. Go ahead.
The scary thing about that is that I learned it in college, which is wonderful. But if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't learn that outside of college. That's the scary part, is that I wouldn't have someone pushing me out of my comfort zone. I would just be in my comfort zone and making artwork just to make it and not by the heart and soul. So I'm giving life to a canvas with no life.
So now that you're post grad, what are you doing to challenge yourself in your new projects, in your new ideas as well?
Well, I've been doing like I have an Etsy shop, so I've been selling
Mhm.
artwork. I've also been making artwork for private clients. So right now I'm making an ebook for a lovely woman that I connected with at a Packer game. I connected with her at a Packer game on my brother's birthday. I'm designing an ebook cover for her, and so
Congrats.
she really wants me to be her personal artist. So that's going to be my full-time job, and I'm excited for that because I'm making artwork for her. I'm making ebook covers for her, and then I have other people. Like, I live in a very vacation area in Wisconsin, so I meet with people who are like owning lake houses and stuff, and so I help them either decor their house, I help them, I make paintings for them for their homes and everything. And so at this point in my life, it's like I already just see my artwork and my talent being put to work in the work world. And outside of painting and art, I do photography as
Hmm.
well. So I'm always busy with that.
Well, thank you. And I love that we're going to collegiate career.
Hmm.
But let's our audience learn more about you. You have
Hmm.
a very interesting background or interesting upbringing that others don't have.
Hmm.
You were born in a majority Caucasian household.
Yes.
About your experiences and how that affects your art now.
I would say it affects my art deeply. One is that, like, when I was a little, so how it happened was that my birth mother was 15 when she had me. So
Hmm.
I'm through open adoption. So my birth mother got to choose my mother that I'm with right now. And I think my mom, she did it out of, obviously she did it out of love, and I love her for that. I deeply do, and I know that I'm loved by her. And the one thing that's really, really impacted me, that I'm still the only Black girl in my family. And it still does impact me, especially like when I express myself through my artwork and everything. And it's
Yes.
not, it used to be in a very bad way, but now it's in a very peaceful, humble way of like, wow, this is unique. This is interesting. Like, I'm not alone. Like, I feel at peace when I create artwork reflecting on what things in life has done to, like, for me.
When did that change? What was that turning point for you?
That turning point for me would have to be when I got more involved with the Black community. So when I went to Eau Claire, um, I joined one, like, these two wonderful clubs have changed my life for the better, and I love them.
Yes.
I will always be loyal to them. They are ASA and BSA.
Yes.
MSS. I love these clubs because a lot of universities in the United States have these clubs to help Black men, Black women, and different, like, diversities of different men and women come together and just feel at safe, especially on their educational journey. To me, it's like I used to believe in all the nasty narratives that society said about Black men and women. And it didn't help that I wasn't around Black men and women to get Black or African affirmation.
Yes.
Black affirmation and African affirmation, to me, you can see it in my artwork. I love it so much. It is so powerful, especially with how scary our society is being right now today. Affirmation, like Black affirmation, to me, when I express it through my artwork, it's not pushing culture aside, it's not pushing white away from Black, it's not pushing other groups away from us, it's including, we're including
Mhm.
everyone. And when I express that in my artwork or in my feminist writing or in my photography work, it's inclusive. It includes everybody, not discludes everybody.
I love how you put that. And a lot of the reason why I started Miracle Arts is
Mm-hmm.
because of BIG, Black Intelligent Gentlemen. That was a men's group of BSU.
Yeah.
Having the confidence to run that organization, a nonprofit wasn't as scary to do.
Yeah.
It was I share that smile with you. It was a shared experience of seeing not just one Black identity, but
Mhm.
multiple.
Oh, yes.
Africa is a continent. It's a very huge continent now, right?
Yes, it is.
And I've always, and this is going into stereotypes of what a Black man should dress and wear. We had a men's group of international students. We had people
Mm-hmm.
from Senegal, we had people from Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Sudans, all over, right? That can really change our identity. So I'm
Indeed.
happy you had that opportunity. Seemed like
In-
El Claire was very important to you.
it is. It changed my affirmation towards myself as a woman, but as a Black
Hmm.
woman. I started taking care of my skin better. I started, like, taking care of, like, everything better about me.
Yeah.
My affirmation, my skin, my clothing choices. Like, when I mean that it turned my life upside down for the better, I mean,
Yes.
words not describe that it did. And the amount of friends and support and love that I have from this experience still burns in my heart even after graduation. Like, even after graduation, that love and that respect, but also that growth is just still there. And I love it. And I couldn't have gone through college without it. And deep down inside, just to think that I didn't know that I would ever experience this in college. Like,
Yeah.
as my friend would say, a friend of a close friend said, and quote, that you went through an awakening. And I said, what's an awakening? And she said, college was helping you become the woman that you're designed to be. You are designed to be an artist. You are designed to be a proud Black woman. And I love how college didn't break you, it made you.
Very well said. I have one last question about your upbringing before we talk more about this collegiate experience.
Yes.
I want to speak about your brother Kenny. He is
Okay.
Olympian, so
Yes.
it's you have a very talented family.
Yes, we're all talented indeed.
And as a athlete, or former athlete myself,
Yeah.
I remember the amount of support you received through camps, through trainings, through
Oh, yeah.
every meet you have to run. I know that it was a lot to support your brother there.
Yes, there was a lot.
Compared to your art career,
Mhm.
what is this that you've seen through your parents, through your community, or just growing up as an artist compared to an athlete?
Well, one of the things, I'm going to say this because this does need to be said. One of the things that I've seen that has changed is respect. When my family moved to Rice to our hometown, things like things were not like they were good, but they weren't fully good. Like, we've had our dealt, like, we experienced probably more racism and discrimination here versus when we lived in Oklahoma. And
Oh,
we lived in Oklahoma when we were just little kids. But I
mhm.
moved up here when I was a high schooler. And so in Oklahoma, I was the only Black girl of my class, but people didn't make me feel uncomfortable about it. But when I moved up here is when, yeah, that happened. And the way, like, obviously I can definitely tell today like who naturally supported on my brother and my family versus people who just naturally changed their opinion because of the status.
Mhm.
I have no bitterness towards people who have done that. I really have no bitterness towards them now if they, like, if their attributes do that. I mean, attributes change and attributes are there, but it's like my brother was always great even before he became an athlete.
Yeah,
My family was always great before my brother went to the Olympics, before I graduated college, before I even became a good, well-known artist. It's like my family was always great before the status and the titles came in.
I'm great. I'm happy to hear this, honestly.
Yeah, but it also really was a fight too because I think about all the narratives that were thrown at me or at my brother. Like, I was told that I wasn't college material. Like, I really was told that I was not college material in high school.
Mm.
And that wrecked my soul so much because I believe that as a Black woman, there's already so many targets on me as there is. And I mean, I've had people say, you're so pretty for a Black girl. I've had people say, you speak well for a Black girl. I've had people say, yeah, those things. Yeah, yeah, those things. And those things did upset me, but I just use those as like fuel to my fire to become the best person I can be. And side story is that that's why I became a feminist. Like, my minor studies is as equally, I give that as equal attention to my artwork as I do like any other studies that I've done. So my feminist studies is my minor studies. I took that as a social class, and around that time I was making political artwork, so I didn't know what artwork to make. And then my professor showed me the um, say her name movement, but from the
Yeah,
Black woman's perspective. So I had to watch an hour video of Black women being beaten in jails, being mistreated by the law, and that really sparked a fire where it's like I can't live in fear. I love my skin. I love who I am and I have to fight. But I have to learn how to fight humble. I learned how to have to fight humble. Violence on violence does not solve things. So how can I help uplift the Black community? How can I change the world for the better? And I'm not going to be a Black savior, but I want to be an ally to help people grow to be the Black man and the woman that God designed them to be.
Off call, Alice, I have a project concept I want to spit with you. But
Yeah.
this is gonna be off the call. I
Yeah.
have one last question for you, and it's a two-in-one actually.
Hmm.
In During your undergrad, you had a chance to go to Florence, Italy, the
Yeah.
city of artists. You
Yes.
had a chance to study abroad. So tell me more about your experience. And then I also want to know what was the difference of being an artist in the United States in some place as Eau Claire
Hmm.
compared to Florence, Italy?
Okay. So the first question. Um, oh my goodness. Can you please repeat the first question again?
Of
Sorry.
course. What was like studying in Florence, Italy?
Studying in Florence, Italy, words cannot describe on just how amazing this experience was. It was needed. It was life-changing. It has affected me both physically and mentally, and it has affected the way I create my artwork now for the better. Like it's created such a new flame in me to create artwork.
And I know you have been an artist both places, so tell me about the difference in perspective of being in the United States compared to the city of artists.
Compared to the city of artists, so before I left for Italy, I had anxieties with my artwork for a very long time because some as an artist, comparison will come in. And comparison is an artist's worst enemy.
Oh, tell me about it. Yes.
Oh yeah, comparison and criticism. So criticism in Eau Claire, especially when it comes to art, I understand that it's tough that it's gonna toughen us up for the real world.
Yes. Before
And
you get into this, explain the difference for the audience at home, difference
mm,
between criticism and feedback.
okay.
That's a huge difference in my eyes.
Yes, it is. Feedback is to push you out of your comfort zone. Like, yes, it's supposed to make you feel comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time.
Hmm.
Criticism is when someone goes up to your work and they say the most interesting vocabulary terms or how they express it in such a way where it just gives you the ick, like the goosebumps of like, oh, and unfortunately in some parts of art education, and I've talked with various other art colleagues and art students about this, is that the student makes wonderful work but the professor says it's not done the professor's way. And in Italy I had a huge amount of anxiety with my drawing class because my drawing classes in the US were very stressful because my professor wanted things done the way that this professor wanted things to be done, and it was
Hmm.
very scary. And I never got a C in art, and that was my first time getting a C. So I was kind of anxious in Italy. And my professor, his name's Martin, and he's from Germany. He's a Germany drawing professor, sweetest man ever. So once a week, you sit with your professor in drawing, and he reviews your work.
Hmm.
And so when I walked in the studio, he's like, I don't care what you create anything with charcoal. All the tools are here. And that's what Italy artwork was like. It was freelance. There were no rules. He's like, art is supposed to bend the rules. So there was a lot more freedom and creativity and expression with various tools versus here in the US. And one thing that I still live by that Martin said to me when he saw my drawings, he was like, Alice, why are you afraid? I get the sense that you're afraid. And I said, well, this is the background that I came from, and now I'm here with it. And he said, and quote, I'm going to say this to you because I see good potential. He said, and quote, that art is meant to break rules. You are meant to break rules. You are meant to make your own rules. You can break them, bend them. That's how the best artists do work. You are meant to break rules. Art, he said, art should be a free conscious, not
Hmm.
a road that you walk on straight. It should be many roads. And he said, be a free soul. And I said, okay, sir, I will. And I cried when I walked away from that review because it's like, that's the last thing that I ever heard from a drawing, like in a drawing class that actually inspired me to draw. And I still talk with this professor today through Zoom calls. But yeah, he said that to me, and that actually got me out of my fear of being a perfectionist with art.
I'm very happy. It was Martin, right?
Yeah.
I'm very happy that Martin came into your life. I have to finish this off. Are you working on new projects? Anything upcoming in the world of Alice?
Yes, there are some new things I'm doing. Like I said, I'm still making artwork for clients, so I have more and more clients coming in. It's photography season, and I have a session coming up this Monday, so I'm very excited for that. Other than that, I have a lot of feminist writings to do about a lot of activist and feminist writings, and I'm going to make artwork based on some of my writings that I make. On top of that, my heart really wants to give back to the art community. So I want to be, this might be a little bit of a Uno reverse card, but I really want to give my time and talents to Miracle Arts. Like, I really want to be a part of this organization. I want to give back to the world of art. I want to be sure that every artist can be the best artist they can be. Like, I've already reconnected with so many people from Miracle Arts that I know. Like, I reconnected with Maddie. I reconnected with some of my friends that actually graduated from Eau Claire that are a part of this wonderful organization. So I have just like I want to give back to the world of art. The world of art has done so much for me. It has not only, like I said before, made me the woman that I am, but it's made me the happy woman that I am, the woman that loves her skin, the woman that loves to be freelance and creative. And I really inspire. I want to help. I want to give back to that energy back to the art community because that energy was given to me. And now it's my turn to give it back to the next best artist that's out there.
It's very well said. Again, thank you for joining us today, and I wish you the very best with your future. Thanks, guys.